Thanks for checking out this video. I'm your Everyday Joe. In this video, I'm going to be doing an unboxing and review for the new large capacity countertop air fryer and dehydrator from OMMO. Now, they sent me the unit to do an honest and solid review for them. I'm not being paid for it. I do have the unit though. So I'm going to take everything out and bring you back when I've got everything unboxed. All right, now I've taken everything out. Obviously, this is the unit here. It's actually a nice looking unit. It's plastic on the outside, and you got the door. It's got little sticky feet on the bottom. At the door opens up. There's a light on the inside, and we'll go through the unit in just a second. You also get this really nice recipe book. It's actually a nice, well-bounded book. It's not just a pamphlet. It's got some nice recipes in there. It comes with this user manual, and it goes through a lot of the normal stuff, how to use it, how to clean it, safeguards, some questions, some charts. What we're going to be talking about now is the description side. A lot of the specs are in here, and what I'll do is I'll place the specs here up on your screen so you can see it as I go through it. So we have the brand, obviously. It's 1800 watt, the unit. That's pretty good. Some of the smaller air fryers, they're about 1600 watts. This one is pretty powerful one. Total air fryer capacity, 17 plus quarts. That's a good size. Perfect for a family of 4. Now, my old air fryer is a little bit smaller. It was only a 6 quart. This thing here is kind of a beast. It's a good size air fryer. The weight of the unit is about 19.2 pounds, so it's not that heavy. It sits on the counter nicely. The dimensions are 15 inches all the way around, 15 inches across, 15 inches deep, 15 inches high, so it's 15 inches cubed. The timers, the range of the oven timer is 1 minute to 60 minutes, so you can adjust your timer on here, and I'll show you what that screen looks like in a second. I'll pop it up on the screen. So you turn it on, you get the on button. You have your timer here on the right side, and it starts at 1 minute and goes up to 60 minutes. Your temperature setting is 180 degrees up to 400 degrees being your maximum, which is pretty typical for most air fryers. The dehydrator setting, and that's this little orange setting here. It looks like a fruit with an orange slice on it. The lowest setting is 90 degrees, and it goes as high as 170 degrees, which is good for most dehydration. And the timer on the dehydrator is from 1 hour to 24 hours. So you can let this thing run for 24 hours, depending on what you're dehydrating at what temperature. Now, let's talk about the inside stuff. Now, if you take a look, the internal, you have a glass door. You also have metallic siding, which is good for shielding. Also, the racks actually go all the way from front to back, and also on the back side, so they slide in nicely, not like some of the other ones that you only have little pieces on there. You have the heating element at the top, and your exhausts around the edges here, and the back vent here. So the next thing is your shelves or your racks. These are pretty good size racks. So they give you 2 of them that come with the unit, and they're more like basket types. They're not completely flat. I don't know if you could see that, but they kind of puff out on the bottom here, so the food doesn't roll off or fall off as you're moving it around. So you get 2 of these, and They appear to be a metal, probably a stainless steel. They're not coated or anything. I don't feel any coating on it, so it's probably just stainless steel. You have your rotisserie basket here, and it has the opening on the front here, which is easy to get your food in and out of. And it locks in, just snap it in place here. And I also like the fact that it's got holes on each end. Now I've seen some of the other baskets for some other air fryers here too. They don't have holes, which will help the airflow. They block it. So this one here is really, really well. I'm going to be interested in trying this to see what the differences are. So you have that. Let's go into the skewers. Now you've got 8 skewers for the skewer rotisserie. So 8 metallic skewers, pretty basic. So these are the side panels for your skewer and your rod, which will go, you see a little square cutout. One side will go in this way here, and you want to make sure that the little block on the end faces out on both sides. That's in there. So same thing happens on this end here. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. And you have your rotisserie fetcher fork. I think that's what they call it here. It's a fetcher tool. So what this does is basically as you're putting your rotisserie rack in or removing it, picks it up this way here when it's hot. Now, if you have oven gloves, you can also use oven gloves to pick it up and slide it in. And I'll show you how that snaps in just a second. And you got your rotisserie forks for when you're not using your skewers. So this would be for your large meats in order to hold it in there. This side here will go right into your meat, the chicken or beef or whatever you're running in here. And again, you'll use the thumb screw the same way to hold that in. So looks like any other rotisserie basket that I've seen in the market. Kind of the same setups, almost identical on forks. Not too difficult. It's got the drip tray here, which looks like it's non-stick. You could probably use it for baking stuff on there too. It looks like it's sprayed with some non-stick. Probably is somewhat non-stick. Just sits at the bottom of your oven just like that. And as you saw, even with the door down, it's hitting the handle there, but you can still get it in. So it's they thought about giving you enough room for that. So that's a good thing. So that's pretty much all that's included here. So I'm going to clear up some of this stuff, and we'll get a little deeper into some of the accessories here and what I like about it, what I don't like about it. Start giving you my opinion, and we'll run the tests on it. All right, so now first thing I want to go through is how to assemble this rotisserie skewer attachment here. So basically, you're gonna have these holes, these squares, and the thumb screw that we talked about earlier. You're gonna take the rod right through the center, like that. Loosen that up a little bit. All right, and slide it on, tighten it down. Same thing with this side here. Again, you want to have the block on the outside. Okay, so let's put that in. Okay, it takes a little bit to get it done, but you're only assembling this one time. Okay, and you tighten that screw down. So once everything's screwed down, doesn't move, you're ready to go. Okay, that's where this tool comes in here. So if you're going to be doing multiple runs of this thing's going to be hot. So that's where this comes in. It's going to hook in right in the cutout here and the second cutout. Now you have a first cutout on this side. You have 2 here, 1 here. The larger end is going to go in this side here. It's going to go to your left while you're facing the oven. And the 2 are going to go to the right. And let's turn the light on. And that's a nice little feature. It has a light feature. It also has a timeout for the light. I believe it's 5 minutes. So you slide it in, get it into the slot here, and then there's a little slot on this side here. So it's a little U slot, it'll drop right in there. So that would be your rotisserie skewer. And if you notice, you got this light that comes on, that's to activate the rotisserie to get it to spin. So you can close that up, turn it on, and start it. So it goes 15 minutes. You can adjust your timer here in 1 minute increments and your temperature in 5-degree increments, all the way up to 400. And the good thing about this unit too is at some of the units, they'll start automatically on you. This one here does not. Hit the start and you can see it starts. You can actually see it rotating. I'm not sure if you can catch that, but it is rotating forward. So you also have an option to stop it by hitting that rotisserie, or if you open the door, it'll also stop. So that's pretty good. Okay, and hit the rotisserie again. Now it's rotating in the opposite direction. So you can control whether it rotates forwards or backwards every time you adjust it. So that's actually a pretty good deal. All right, and when you're done, timer goes off. That'll ring about 5 times. I wish there was a way to turn that off, but there isn't. Okay, and it goes through a cooling cycle. So also the unit, you want to keep it away from your walls. If you put it under the cabinets or on a counter somewhere, you want to make sure you have about 5 inches all the way around it. I believe it said that in the manual. But what I feel the air coming from the top here. So some of the other units I have, you don't feel air here. This is an intake for the fan and to blow the air down. And there's another vent in the back that apparently is the intake. So you have the intake and the exhaust. So this part here will get warm, and I'll give you some information on that in just a bit. Okay, open it up, take your tool, lift, and pull it out. Okay, so now to put let's get to put your skewers in, you'll see 2 different sides. This here has little cutouts vertically. This has little squares on this side here. You slide it in from the square side. That's where the larger end will be. Slide it into the hole, and this part here, you just pinch it, and snap it in. That's it. So you'll just put them all the way around. So that's actually not bad. It's nice little feature. So let's talk about this basket. Now I like the fact that the basket has hinges here, and it opens up this side here. So you can fit your hand in there. You don't have to worry about getting burned by touching the edges. So that's actually kind of nice. Nice way of making this. Snaps right down, closes. You have plenty of air holes on this side here for the air to pass through and help cook the food. Now let's talk about putting your the racks in there. Now, as you can see, this is all metallic. It's all stainless steel, so it looks really nice, nice and clean, and the light reflecting on it makes it nice and bright. So it's actually a good brightness for when you have the door closed. You can get a good view on it. Okay, slide the basket in, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible slots here, all the way up to the top where the heating element is right here. Now, I'm going to show you the heating element, which, see if I can tip this far enough. All right, if you take a look, I don't know if you can see that because the door does not come off, but the heating element is here, and I'll snap a picture and I'll show you on the screen. You have a strap on the left-hand side, and the connections are on the right. But if you notice, there isn't any way, any grate or anything that will protect anything from hitting it. So if you're going to be running your baskets up top here, you're probably going to hit that. You're probably going to be hitting that element, potentially damaging it. So I would like to have seen some kind of protectant for that. It would make more sense. But on the other hand, it makes it easier to clean that area. So you've got to give up something at some point, I guess. So overall, not too bad so far. The door feels pretty sturdy. You know, it's plastic. This is all plastic except for the glass door here, and that's plastic on the outside and glass on the inside. And it feels pretty sturdy. You know, it's made pretty well. It also doesn't have any breather holes at the bottom. They're at the top for cooling. So I think cleaning will probably be relatively simple on the door. The other thing I do like, the cord on this is extra long. It's about 4 feet long. It's plenty of space for large counters, or if you have an island, it'll definitely reach without too much hassle. So let's find out now on the capacity. How big is it really? All right. So I mean, the question here is how much can you fit in there? So I brought out a couple of pans here. I've got an 8x8 baking dish, which I've used in my other videos, my other air fryer. So as you can see, I mean, no problem whatsoever. You could probably fit a 9x9 without any issues. And obviously, I mean, you've got plenty of space in there. Something like this will fit without a problem. So that's good. That's good. We get something good there. Now we have a muffin tray. This one is like a medium-sized muffin. It's probably about 8 inches, and that fits really nicely. You know, in both directions. It should, yeah. I mean, just barely, it gets right to the door here, so you can make medium-sized muffins. You know, that tray fits nicely in there. This is the large muffins. This is the normal-sized muffins that I like. Now, at this point, it obviously doesn't fit, and doesn't fit this way either. Can't close the door. So medium, small muffins are probably where you're going to be stuck with that. So that isn't going to work. So overall, I mean, not too bad. You've got some things that'll fit in there. You could probably cook for 4 without too many issues. It's definitely a large capacity. It says you can put a 5-pound chicken in there. So I know I've done a 5-pound in my 6-quart. So I could probably get a little bit bigger of a chicken in this one. And somewhere down the line, I'll probably have videos on that. Let's go over this panel a little bit. So you've got 8 presets on here. You got your power button, you get the light button. This is your temperature setting up and down, timer setting up and down. Then you have your French fry setting, looks like a meat setting. You have your fish or shrimp, looks like shrimp. Your chicken leg there. Your baking, looks like a piece of cake. Your chicken rotisserie, and your dehydration. And I'll leave the printout for what these settings are and time on the screen here. I'll just put it on the side of the screen. So these are all presets, and you can manually override them just by adjusting the timer and your temperature. So overall, you know, so far so good. All right, so before I did this cooking experiment here, I did run a couple of tests just to get a feel for actual temperatures, and I ran my thermometer in the center rack, and I'll put some pictures up to show you where I put everything and how I set it, and I'll just read off my notes here. Now, as a standard, I set the preheat for 10 minutes at each temperature. So on the high side, the 400 degrees, I did notice that it varied 358 degrees to 379 degrees. So as it cools, as you can hear the fan powering up and down, that's when it's heating up and cooling down. So it went from 358 to 379 degrees Fahrenheit when it was set at 400. So it never really hit that 400 degrees, and I let that run for 20 minutes at that temperature. You know, not overly concerned with it. You can still cook everything. It's a matter of getting your food up to temperature, but if you're counting on that being correct, just be aware that there is quite a variance in that. Now for a 350, again, preheated at 10 minutes. The low end was 325 degrees Fahrenheit. The high end was 334. So again, it didn't quite make 350. So running cool, to me, it's not huge, but when you set something at 350, you want it to be at 350. It is running about 15 degrees cooler, which is something to keep in mind if you're going to be baking. So there is a 16 degree to 25 degree variance on the low and the high side of the temperatures. Now the dehydration side, it was a little tighter on that. I set that at 90 degrees, and it went to 88 degrees to 100 degrees. So it was a little bit of an opening, but it's low enough where you can dehydrate pretty well. Overall, this air fryer holding temperature, what it's set to is running a little cool. Not the end of the world again, but it is what it is. All right, so the test I'm going to run is just some wedges of potato. Just sprayed it with some avocado oil and salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, pretty simple. The chicken is a raw panko breaded Tyson chicken. So it is raw chicken, but it's frozen. So we're going to put everything in once, and I'm going to cook it with the chicken settings. We're going to test the chicken, make sure we get to 165 degrees. So let's put it in. Open the door. I'm going to put this around the center. Yeah, we'll go a little higher. I like it up here. So putting the rack in, really no trouble whatsoever. Close the door. Power on. Hit the chicken setting. It's 380 degrees, and the timer should be 20 minutes. And with some other ovens, this would automatically turn on. This one here will not turn on until you hit the power button to start it. So you've got time to set and do what you have to do. So a couple of things we're going to test for here. Obviously, we're going to test for the meat cooking, the 20 minutes. I would guess that's more for raw meat, not frozen, but we're going to test it anyway. And then we'll take some readings around, and I'll let you know how hot this thing gets. So let's turn it on and find out. Okay, so that's going. Turn the light on. We'll let this run for a while, see what happens, and we'll talk about it on the other side. All right, so I put in my thermometer, my meat thermometer, into the chicken just to make sure we hit the right temperature. As you can see, we're at about 153 degrees, 3 minutes left. So we're probably going to be there at 3 minutes. We might have to add a minute or two. Okay, so I just want to feel around to see where the heat is. The vent in the back, I don't feel anything. I got my hand right on it, and this is reading 380 degrees. So there's no heat in the back, so that's got to be an intake. I do feel the heat on the top here. I feel the wind coming out from this corner here and this edges here. So this is the hot section. So let's test it here with my infrared laser thermometer. So the top is reading 124 degrees in the back, about 108 on the front. And it looks like we've hit temperature. It's at 165. So just silence that. All right, so we're at 165. I think I bumped that up to 390. 2 minutes. I'm gonna let it go another minute or two. I want to feel the temperature on the side here. 100 degrees, about 118. The front, 100. You got the door. About 140. But that's the glass, and I got my hand right on it. It's not hot. It's a little warm. The little corners are, it's okay. I mean, it's a little on the warm side. You're probably not going to get burned instantly on it, but overall, I mean, feels pretty cool to the touch. Not too bad. I don't recommend you keeping your hands on it, especially the top. But the sides are really cool. I mean, surprisingly cool. So I'm just gonna stop it here. We're going to take a look at it. So the actual timer, was 20 minutes. So, and that was a frozen piece of chicken too. So we're going to take a look at it. I'm going to put my oven glove on. You should definitely be using oven gloves on these. If you don't have it, any of these gloves, I'll leave links in the bottom for anything that I use here, your meat thermometers, your surface thermometers here. So wait till this stops here because it goes through a cooling cycle. Once it's done, it tries to cool off the fan and the element before you open the door. And just keep in mind that there's no protective grid over that element. So if you're going to stick your hands in there, be aware that you'll get severely burned. So let's just open that up here as soon as it's done here. This one here takes a few seconds, about 20 seconds or so for the fan to stop running. But you can open it up when it's done. So we open that up and let's take a look. Let's move this plate out of the way. Let's take a look at what we did. All right, so I'm just going to pull this out. That's pretty hot. So I'll pull that out. All right, so if you take a look at the potatoes, I mean, I wish they were a little bit more done. The chicken, I'm going to put it on this cutting board. We're going to cut through that. I'm going to put the potatoes in for a few more minutes. I want them nice and toasty. So I'm going to stick them right at the top of the rack there. Okay, again, be careful when you put your hand in there because it does have that heating element at the top. So close that. Timer on. I'm going to crank that up to 400. Okay, because that's the highest. And I'm going to give it about 5 minutes. And start. So let's cut into the chicken to see if it's actually at temperature. And like I said, this is the Tyson panko encrusted, but it was raw chicken. So let's cut it right down the middle. And yeah, it's well done. It's really nice. It's juicy. It's not dried up. Looks good. Looks good here. So I'm going to cut it up in a couple pieces here. Yeah, not dry at all. Yeah, looks really good. And tastes good too. In conclusion here, let's go over some of the pros and cons that what I liked, what I didn't like, and just my own personal thoughts and feelings on the unit. Overall, it looks really nice. Looks like it's well made. It's nice and square, not some crazy rounded look where you can't really fit it into slots. It's not too big, not too tall. The capacity, fantastic. 17 quarts, plenty of space for food. I plan on cooking some large meals in this in the future. The shelves, really good. They slide in nicely. They feel pretty sturdy. The racks kind of cupped a little bit, so they keep the food from rolling off on the back side or the front side. It's got some suction cups at the bottom here. Keep it pretty sturdy. Doesn't move. The unit doesn't vibrate at all. It's actually very quiet. It was a lot quieter than I thought it was going to be. It doesn't echo, doesn't rattle. It seems pretty firm. Got a nice touch panel with some presets, makes things easier. The cookbook's fantastic. I mean, it's got nice pictures and nice recipes. Cleaning the inside, very easy. With the stainless steel, if you get staining, obviously you can get in there with a sponge and clean it all out. The glass, clean the glass out. So the cleaning part seems to be pretty easy, pretty simple. Now for the cons, what I did not like, or things that were kind of questionable. Well, first thing, I'm always about the safety part of this first. So first part is the heating element. The fact that it does not have a grid or some kind of safety gate in front of it. So in case it sags or if something hits it, damages it, run into some problems. Also, things getting caught up into the fan might be a problem somewhere down the line. So that is definitely a con for me. I wish they had put at least a grate in front of it, even if they made it removable, which would be good to clean, excellent. Leaving it wide open, obviously a little risky. The second big part of this unit that I'm not crazy about and has been a little bit annoying, and I wish that they had thought about this earlier, is those suction cups. Yes, keeps it sturdy, but seeing that you got to pull this unit away from your cabinet walls and your on your counter, frequently if you use it, if you're like me, you have a smaller countertop or not too much space, you have to pull it out every so often. So the problem with the suction cups is they get stuck, and and I'll show you here. I'm just gonna, now it's on there. I'm not gonna cut this video at all. So when you pull up on it, you can see at least one of the suction cups pulls off. So this is a big issue for me. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that they're that easily to come off. And I've had as many as 3 of them pop off all at once. So now you've got to tip the unit. And yes, they go back on really easily. You just, pop it on and just press it. That's fine. It's just a little bit annoying and kind of a pain to always have to do that every time you move the unit if you get it clean underneath it or anything. So they should have just put some rubber feet on it instead of the suction cups. So that's another kind of pain for me. Other than that, I mean, price-wise, good price point. I believe it was set at $150, $159. I'll leave some links down in the description below of, again, everything I use, and also some links for this unit if you're interested in looking it up and taking a look at it for yourself. Other than that, I think it does what it says it does. It cooks the food. It crisps. You don't need much oil. A little bit of spray here and there if you want it. Really not necessary. And it definitely got the capacity to cook for a family of 4. So overall, I like the unit. I'm going to probably continue to use this unit for the next few weeks, and then I'm going to make a follow-up video to this one here, comparing it to some of the other units that I do have. And also how I think it holds up after a few weeks of daily usage. I use my other one probably 3 or 4 times a week, so I can definitely figure out whether or not this one here is going to be worth it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, give me some likes, give me some comments at the bottom. Let me know what you think, what kind of unit you use, or if you have any experience with this one. If there's something else you want to see me try in this unit, let me know. And maybe I'll incorporate it to my next video. On the side here, YouTube will play some videos from our playlist and some other review video products that we have here. Again, we want to thank you for spending the time watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. It's always a lot of fun. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.